if you're considering doing something, I think you should just try to do it. Put yourself out there. If you're interested in DSPU or this field, if you're interested in trying something new, trying a new career, most of the time, it's really, really, really going to be way more worth than you ever intend. So put yourself out there, have fun, and just try to do the thing. You probably won't regret it.
Hello, and welcome to The Direct Line, the official podcast of Lighthouse Cove. As you know, we recently stepped into an exciting new season here at Lighthouse Cove, and with that, we've also stepped into a new chapter for this podcast. Our team is now hosting the podcast, having conversations, telling our story, and sharing the impact happening every day across our programs, our partnership, and our community. Today's episode is a very special one because we're introducing someone who represents both the heart of our mission and the future of our work. I'm so excited to have with us Destiny Campbell, our new DSPU Program Coordinator. Destiny's journey with Lighthouse Cove didn't start with her new job title. It started with participation, mentorship, leadership development, and a deep belief in inclusive community and the need for education about the IDD field and workforce growth. From Leadership LAUNCHpad to her team floating down the Mohican River to serving as a DSPU skill mentor, she has experienced this organization from multiple perspectives, and now she's leading one of our most innovative programs, DSPU. DSPU is more than a program. It's a workforce pipeline, a mentorship model, and a powerful example of how we build the next generation of professionals in the IDD field. Destiny, I am so thrilled to have you as my very first podcast guest.
Yes, thank you, Becky, for having me. I'm excited to be here.
And we're also thrilled to have you as part of our Lighthouse Cove team.
Yes.
Yes. So it's a 2-in-1 for this podcast. Yeah. So maybe let's just start a little bit about your talking about your background in accessible inclusion, recreation inclusion. Maybe tell us a little bit about how you got into that and why that's important to you.
Yeah. So back when I was going to Ohio University, I was working on my degree in recreation management. And I was really interested in kind of how there was um, unfair opportunities given to people based on what like class they were in. So like wage demographics and just differences, and how people weren't being provided the same opportunities to enjoy all these different things that were around them where they were living. So I kind of dove into that. So again, more like wage disparity, but then that really opened up my eyes to all of these different groups of people who might not have such an advantage to, again, accessing those recreational activities. Um, and I got my degree and I started my career working at a lot of different recreational places. And over that time, I was able to meet a lot of different people who needed different like accessibility issues and adaptations in sports. So that was really awesome, but it was kind of far and in between. So, but it kind of lit a fire within me for that type of stuff.
Awesome. Okay. Well, how did that journey lead into a little bit more work then into the developmental disability field
Yeah.
or realm?
Yeah. So, like I said, I worked a lot of different places. I was able to move around a lot, see a lot of different beautiful places. But I did come back home to Ohio, where I'm from. So I was just looking for a new opportunity. And I was at a point where I wanted to find something a little bit more rewarding, but still in the recreation field because I do love it so much. I love being able to help other people have fun. So some random day, I typed in recreation on Indeed and I came across this job that said recreation manager. And it was for a company called Open Door, which ultimately I found out was a provider for people who have intellectual and developmental disabilities. And that position itself was to be working in the ICF, so in the intermediate care facilities, helping manage the recreation programs and just helping them with community programming, things like art, music, and like working on relationships, making friendships, and participating in everyday life, which sounded amazing. So
Yes.
applied there, kind of randomly. And the people there who interviewed me, they really saw me and they believed in my background and they gave me a chance. And it ended up being the most rewarding job that I'd ever put myself out on a limb for. And I loved it. I still love those people very much.
Yes. We love them too. We are very familiar with Open Door, as you know. They're great partners of ours. We do a lot with them. Becky Sharp Porter, their CEO, is the president of Lighthouse Cove Board. We value them and the relationship we have with them very much. And so I happen to know through that, that's how you became familiar with us, and a lot of what we do. And before we get into that, I do want to ask one question. Um, why you said yes to us at Lighthouse Cove, knowing how much you love Open Door and your relationship and your experience there, when the opportunity came available, to join us. Why did you say yes? I'm curious
Yeah.
about that.
So I can talk more about these awesome events and all of the things that I was able to develop with you guys during my time there. But really, the thing that was so impressive to me was when I first learned about your organization and started participating in events, they were so well put together that I was convinced it was being run by a team of 20 plus people. Like a lot of people running behind the scenes and doing all these backstage things because they were just so fun to participate in, but also like rewarding. And I felt like I left with new skills, new networking opportunities. And over time, I learned that this was a team of like a handful, literally a handful of people. And I thought that was just very impressive because, again, the work that you guys are doing and have been doing for years is so valuable. And it's really a well oiled machine. And I was just really impressed by that. And I wanted to be a part of that. I wanted to develop myself that way too and be part of something bigger than me where I really do have to hold some weight. So, really exciting opportunity. I could not pass it up.
Awesome. Well, again, we're thrilled, of course, to have you here and have you a part of our team. So, all right. Well, let's go back a little bit to the things that you were able to be a part of with us. I know I've met you in a few realms, but my first time of really getting to know you and enjoy you for who you are was Leadership LAUNCHpad. You were a part of that program, and we won't go into all that Leadership LAUNCHpad entails because there's a little mantra. What happens at Leadership LAUNCHpad stays at Leadership LAUNCHpad. We don't really give our secrets away there, but we can share, like, some of the learning that you took away from that. And so maybe just tell a little bit about that experience that you had with us and how you grew in that and what you took from that.
Yeah. So, that Leadership Launchpad was one of the most like fun and rewarding leadership development things that I've ever got to participate in. It came with so many like networking opportunities that were directly in my field,
Mhm.
which it's kind of hard sometimes to make those connections without directly working with those people. So it put me in the perfect place where I could meet all these people. We were encouraged to work together, reflect together, brainstorm new ideas to take back home with us all together. And ultimately, I ended up making a lot of pretty close friends too, which,
Nice.
in the professional field and the in your personal life, it's just so
Right.
important to have those connections and people you can lean on.
For sure.
Because some days get really hard and you need those people, but on the really good days too, you want people that you can celebrate that with.
For sure. Yeah. Yes, I will echo that. I always joke when I do booths now, or I'm talking to people about Leadership Launchpad. I always say, I participated in Leadership Launchpad when I didn't work for Lighthouse Cove. So I say it's not a plug, but it's the best professional development that I had ever done, and I learned so much about myself professionally, but also personally too. I took a lot away from that experience. It's a very intrinsic look at yourself as a leader. And I couldn't say, enough about it and can't say enough about it. So if you haven't participated in our Leadership Launchpad, we both encourage you to do so. It's you won't regret it in any way, shape, or form. And I have a lot of very fun memories of Destiny at Leadership Launchpad because Daryl, who's on our council, he always says, we work really hard, but we have a lot of fun doing it. And that's kind of Leadership Launchpad's mantra too. You definitely participate and learn a lot and work a lot, but we have a lot of fun time together as well. So I have a lot of fun memories of Destiny from that experience. Um, but let's talk about your role too when you worked at Open Door. Open Door is an agency who participates as an internship part of DSPU program. So DSPU students do an internship component when they take the DSPU program. And Open Door helps the students who go to Westland High School. When they do their internship, they might go to Open Door and do their internship there. And when DSPU students do that internship, we have at all the agency sites a person who's identified as a skill mentor. And they take a training through us and learn about the whole DSPU program in order to support those students and their hands on experience at that agency site and helping earn their badges that they earn to show that they understand that, what they've learned and what they've seen and all the skills they need to be a really effective DSP and earn their certifications. And Destiny was a skill mentor at Open Door. So she took all the training that we had and supported students from Westland High School as a skill mentor. So let's talk about that. Let's talk a little bit about, why you decided to be a skill mentor and support students in the DSPU program when you're at Open Door.
Yeah. So I loved working at Open Door, but the one thing that I was kind of lacking working there with was working with young adults. And historically, at all of my other jobs, I was able to work with young adults and kind of manage those groups of people. And I really loved it. I like that age group a lot. And I think it's such a fun and interesting time of life, just learning so much about yourself. So one of my awesome coworkers back at Open Door, Sean Moore, he approached me,
Really
who
awesome.
he was familiar with this program. He was the skill mentor prior to me kind of joining at Open Door. And he said, "Hey, there's this opportunity. I think you'd be great at it." And he explained what it would be, what being a skill mentor would be, and kind of how this program worked. And I was immediately interested because, again, I love working with that group of people, that age group of people. So I said yes, and I got signed up for a training. Um, was trained really effectively, and I was able to go to their kickoff event where I met Becky in person for the first time.
Yeah.
Kevin was there too, and I got to meet the students who would be participating at my location and their teacher. And it was a really cool experience because it was their that high school's first year doing it too. So, as much as it was a learning experience, everything was set up prior so well that it was overall pretty smooth on my end. I had a great relationship with the students, with the teacher, and the individuals at Open Door who had these everyday experiences. They ended up falling in love with the interns, and I think the interns really they felt similarly too. It was kind of a
Mm,
sad goodbye at the end of the year, but it welcome send off to them entering adulthood.
yeah. How do you think DSPU overall impacts the students? Would you say when they do their internship component of the program? How do you think that impacts them?
Yeah, it's extremely eye-opening, I think, because it teaches such a huge component of just advocacy, at your core. Um, because regardless of what field you might end up going into, that is something that is going to touch every single field that you're in. And it probably does relate to almost every single person that you know.
Mhm.
So, as much as we encourage um, people to pursue things in this field, being a DSP and all these other things that do relate to being a DSP too, working in the DD field and the medical field and the education field, there's so many things that overlap. But something even just like working in food service or retail, knowing how to be an advocate in a public space to other people. Um, it's something that is completely invaluable. I think it's something everyone they'd be lucky to have experience with. So this is a cool opportunity for people in high school still to get everyday real experience with communication, advocating for other people, and again, just learning more about those life skills about how we're all the same. We all want to do the same things. We all want to
Mhm.
enjoy life and be together.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, why do you think DSPU is so important? Obviously for the students, but not just for the students, but for the future of the IDD field
Yeah,
or our field as a whole.
yeah. So again, this field is something that is it's so important. It's always going to be around, and almost everywhere you go, around the whole world, this is something that we need. So it's a super rewarding field, and there's always opportunity for growth, even if that growth is just again developing those relationships and having a truly rewarding job. So that's why this program is so great. It introduces this field as a whole, the DD field, particularly being a DSP. But again, this can branch into so many things. So it's just a really great gateway into all those opportunities.
100%. I know I stumbled into this field. I started college thinking I wanted to do something different. I actually thought I was going to be a teacher. And because of one of my experiences, I learned about the field of disability. And here I am. I won't say how many years later, but many, many years later. And I stayed, but I had no idea, about the vastness of this field and all the opportunities that there were in the field of disabilities that you could do. I mean, literally almost everything you could do, like being a nurse,
Mhm.
being a therapist, being an accountant, being a CEO, in the business world, being a dietary manager, being a transportation manager, like almost every career you can think of, you can do even in the disability realm or field. And so, I always tell the students, you can be a DSP and you can stay a DSP. There's a great future in that and growth within being a DSP. Or you can, grow into other things in our field from being a DSP. You could be a supervisor. You could go to school and complete a degree and become a program manager. You could be an SSA. And even if you don't stay in our field, say you decide to be a nurse or become a therapist or something outside of our field, you're going to support someone with a disability at some point, and this program gives you a great foundation to do that and to deliver those supports with the skills and the knowledge you need to be successful in that. So you can't go wrong.
Yeah.
Not to mention all the other skills you learn, the communication skills, the professional skills, and how to be that professional in the workplace. So yeah, I can't say enough about it. As you know, we've had so many conversations around it, and you can't go wrong, I feel. So let's say someone watching this today, maybe a student today is saying, well, that kind of sounds like something I may be interested in, or maybe not. Maybe I'm scared, to take that jump rather into the program because it's the unknown. I know when I was younger, I was very shy and definitely had a fear of that unknown. What would you say to that student? Maybe considering DSPU, but not quite sure on that fence. What message might you have for them?
If someone was considering DSPU, I would absolutely say just try it. It's not something that people walk away from regretting doing. Again, even if they don't go into this field, because there's a lot of exciting things in life to try, but walking away with all of those skills and knowledge is not something anyone would regret. It's not something I've regretted learning later on in my professional career, helping these other people learn.
Right.
Um, and again, it's just such a prime time in someone's life during like junior, senior year of high school. You don't get a lot of opportunities to get real hands on experience like that unless you are working a job.
Hmm.
So, this is a great way for it to be built into your education system. Um, we make sure that most of these things, like the students, you don't have to figure things out on your own. There's someone always there to help you.
Yeah.
Um, and again, you're only going to walk away with more skills. And we make sure that you feel actually confident in those skills, which is really great. It's more than
Yeah.
just a couple bullet points on a resume.
Right. Excellent. Yes. Thank you. Well, let's just end with a few like rapid fire fun questions to get to know Destiny a little bit better. Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
All right. So, since you love recreational activities and I know you love to have fun, what is your favorite recreational activity to do?
So I think being outside, probably like whitewater kayaking, which is very extreme. Not a lot of it to do around Columbus, where I'm located. But if I have to keep it indoors, Becky, I'm a karaoke girl.
Uh,
I,
I witnessed that.
yes, she has. I'll go hard at karaoke. If anyone needs a partner, I'll help you. So fun.
All right. What's your favorite way to relax?
I like to write a lot. I'll not probably anything I'd ever share, but I'll write little poems, I'll write stories, and just hanging out like with my daughter and my dogs, enjoying the good things in life.
All right. What's one word that would describe your leadership style? One word.
Hmm.
I know.
Um, Probably just bright, which sounds a little bit silly. There's a lot of words I could say, but I'm right there and
Right.
maybe in your face, but I'm going to be positive and trying to steer people in the right direction.
Right. Okay. What's your favorite motivational quote or mantra?
Um, this might sound silly, but that video of Shia LaBeouf saying, just do it. That's gotten me very far in life. And I recommend everyone go back. It's not a funny meme. It's a really inspirational video. Because again, at
Yeah.
the end of the day, I think we should just do it.
You could be Nike's
Uh,
rep,
yeah, that's
just
what I'm
do
saying. If they want to sponsor
it. All right. And then one thing that always makes you smile.
definitely my daughter. Yeah, she's just a little 2-year-old ball of joy and energy. And any good thing in life is just reflected in her. I love her so much.
Awesome. All right. And then one last closing reflection. What message would you like to leave for our listener out there? If you had one thing to say or leave them with, what might that be?
Yeah. I think again, for me, at the end of the day, for anyone, if you're considering doing something, I think you should just try to do it. Put yourself out there. If you're interested in DSPU or this field, if you're interested in trying something new, trying a new career, um, most of the time, it's really, really, really going to be way more worth than you ever intend. So put yourself out there, have fun, and just try to do the thing. You probably won't regret it.
Great note. Good to leave us on. Well, thank you, Destiny. Thank you so much for being on my very first podcast, being a part of Lighthouse Cove. We're just thrilled again to have you as a part of our team. And thank you for sharing your story with us today, your professional journey, your heart for inclusion, your mentorship, and just your overall personality. It really came through. So thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, Becky.
Yeah. Um, because you are brand new to the Lighthouse Cove team, this conversation has really helped our community to get to know you, your leadership style, your passion, and the experiences that shaped you long before you stepped into the DSPU coordinator role. What's so exciting is that you're not coming in from the outside. You've experienced who we are, Lighthouse Cove, firsthand as a participant, as a leader, that DSPU skill mentor. So again, we're just really thrilled to have you. That perspective you bring matters. It brings authenticity, credibility, a deep understanding for what makes our programs, particularly the ones that you'll be leading, the DSPU program, so impactful. So I can't say it enough how happy we are that you're here. You bring energy, lived experience, expertise, and a genuine belief and desire in building up that next generation of professionals. And that's exactly the kind of leadership that strengthens our team and expands our impact. To our listener out there, as Destiny said, if you're interested in anything we offer, being a part of us, if you're a student, a parent, an educator, a provider, or a potential partner, we invite you to reach out, get connected with us. Our DSPU program is growing, and I know under Destiny's leadership, the future's bright, and it's going to continue to grow. Bright, your mantra, your word is your leadership word. So again, we're grateful for you joining us today and joining our team, and we look forward to all that Lighthouse Cove is going to be doing in the future. And to you listening, thank you for being a part of the Direct Line, where we share real stories and real people driving the mission forward at Lighthouse Cove as we continue to educate, elevate, and empower our field. We will see you next time.
Awesome. Thanks for listening.
With the launch of Lighthouse Cove, our work continues with the growing and renewed direction of our podcast, The Direct Line. With conversations, stories, and on-location interviews, The Direct Line supports the mission of Lighthouse Cove to educate, elevate, and empower professionals across the IDD field. Tune in to the Direct Line podcast, brought to you by Lighthouse Cove every Thursday on YouTube and all other podcast platforms. Lighthouse Cove, it's more than a name. It's who we are.